are looking at island number 8, which is just off the 79th Street Causeway. As you can see, this island has been partially wrapped with the pink woven fabric that Christo hopes to wrap 11 islands with. And the people that you see on that island are Christo's workers. They're standing by because right now there has been a temporary halt of the further wrapping of the islands because of bad weather conditions. Apparently this morning when the unfurling began, high winds started causing some problems. When the winds get rough, the fabric starts to billow and that causes problems. So right now there is a temporary halt. This island, island number 8, has been partially wrapped, and so have 3 other islands, and they're just standing by waiting for the weather conditions to improve. Presumably, if the weather conditions do improve, at least these 3 or 4 islands could be fully wrapped tonight, and by the time they are fully wrapped, they're going to look like sort of hot pink water lilies just floating in Biscayne Bay. But right now, again, there is a temporary halt because of bad weather conditions, primarily unpredictable winds. We'll have more on this at 6 o'clock. Reporting live over Biscayne Bay, I'm Robyn Carter.
Who says there's nothing new under the sun? Not Christo, not this morning. To the gold of sunrise and the blue of Biscayne Bay, the Bulgarian-American artist added yet another color, pink. Yards and yards of pink polypropylene fabric slowly unfolding from floating cocoons, turning 11 obscure islands into giant pink lily pads, turning Miami into the focal point of the entire art world. More than 2 years and $3 million after it was announced, Christo's Surrounded Islands project was finally happening, but not without incident. Shortly before 9 this morning at island number 3, north of the Julia Tuttle Causeway, newly unfurled fabric billowed when a gust of wind slipped underneath it. The result looked like an unruly pink whale, Moby Pink. Christo's army, like so many Captain Ahabs, rushed to subdue it, leaping into the billowing folds, wallowing in the water. Eventually, they succeeded. Soon after, Christo arrived and proceeded to give his lieutenants a lesson in stitching. Art is easier in a studio where the canvas is solid. Christo seemed unfazed by the brief setback and sped off to solve other problems, or situations, as he calls them, at other islands. An armada of news media boats trailed him, and the skies above Biscayne Bay were abuzz with helicopters. As the winds picked up at mid-morning, even the most vocal critic of the project was supportive and sympathetic.
You know, the elements, they're really fighting elements, and I got to be sympathetic. Their people are just working really hard and trying to do a very good job. You know, we sighted some pink plastic over there floating, and that's really the only thing that we've seen at this point is a problem. And other than a fish that jumped up on there and they were able to get it back on in the water, I think that they're trying. So we'll stay out here and keep making sure that they do a good job. But I got to say one thing for them, I couldn't see a group work harder than they are working at this point.
But work came to a halt as the weather worsened and stopped completely this afternoon when rainstorms swept across the bay. Work will resume early tomorrow morning. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it will take at least 2 to surround the islands. Now with more on the story, here is Robyn Carter.
Well, it is still windy, very windy as a matter of fact, here on Biscayne Bay tonight, but despite all of the rough weather, Christo and his legion of 400 workers have managed tonight to surround one island in the bay. That is island number 14, which is the northernmost island in the chain. Now with me is Christo's wife, Jeanne-Claude. Jeanne-Claude, you and your husband have been waiting 2 years to unfurl this pink fabric in the bay today. You've got to be a little disappointed tonight that Mother Nature interrupted your plans.
Well, yes, we are a little bit disappointed, but not too much. We have to work with nature, with the wind. It's part of Christo's work, and our young workers are taking it beautifully.
Is this going to be a major setback for you? Is this going to delay the project a couple of days?
No. It will be ready tomorrow night if we have good weather tomorrow.
So you're saying despite today's rain, you're going to finish all the islands tomorrow?
That's correct.
Okay, good luck to you, and thank you very much. Well, even though Christo's project did not get off the ground as planned today, it has generated a lot of excitement in the neighborhood around the islands. It's got some of those people thinking pink. C. Farrell is one person who has a bad case of pink fever. For 3 days now, she's been glued to a telescope set up on the balcony of her North Bay Village apartment, which has a ringside view of one of the surrounded islands. She wants to make sure she doesn't miss one step in the Surrounded Islands project.
I think it's a great happening. It's got everybody in town talking about it, and people are having parties, getting together whether they like it or they don't like it, and I think it's good for Miami.
And those who are equally as excited about the Christo project but don't happen to have balcony views of the islands came down to the 79th Street Causeway early this morning armed with binoculars to make sure to get a close-up look at all that pink fabric. What do you think of this project? Is it really art to you?
Yes, I definitely think it's art. It's not art that's locked in a museum. It's people are arguing and talking about it constantly, and that's what's so exciting about it.
And some local businesses are also picking up on the pink fever. Witness this special pink drink created by the Fontainebleau Hotel to honor Christo. It's a pineapple concoction called the Christo cocktail. And then there are those businesses trying to cash in on the Surrounded Islands project. Here at this souvenir booth at the Val Harbor shops, you can buy a Christo t-shirt for anywhere from $10 to $15. The sales girl here says business is booming, but at first she says people weren't sure what to think about all that pink plastic.
At the beginning, people were afraid, very afraid, and by the time now people come here and everyone has a great discussion about it, and it's very interesting getting to know everyone's opinion.
And once the project is in place, it will be up for at least 2 weeks. Reporting live, I'm Robyn Carter.
Penthouse dwellers in ritzy Bal Harbor high-rises are front row center for the first of the Surrounded Islands. Only island number 14 is fully dressed right now. There was even a little last-minute tailoring going on at sundown. But the other islands will require more work come tomorrow. Some are partially surrounded by the stretched pink polypropylene. Others didn't even have the fabric attached to the booms surrounding them by dusk tonight. But even partially clad islands spurred shoreline debates about art.
Spend that kind of money to put pink around an island, unnatural.
What's happening?
Christo's volunteers were unable to finish their fabric stretching because of the weather, rain and especially wind.
It whips it up and down, and it's hard to pull it. You have to pull it straight. You can't get the air under it. You get these big air pockets. But once the wind died down, it was great. It went down really flat. Looks beautiful. It does.
Yeah, I was very much anticipating a real party atmosphere, but I guess that's going to be tomorrow.
As for the artist, Christo said he was not disappointed by the weather problems.
I like it, this part of drama and excitement, like the man and the sea. I always do projects we have all kind of problems, but the weather and the end became very important factor and beautiful element.
It's part of the experience.
Yes.
Christo's impressions of Island 14? He says it looks a lot like the sketches of it that he's been doing over the last couple of years, adding that aerial views of it look formal, while seeing it from water level is a sensuous experience. The volunteer fabric stretching crews are being told to report back here at 4 o'clock in the morning for another try at putting Christo's splashes of pink in Biscayne Bay and in the art history books. Nick Bogert for The World Tonight, Pelican Harbor.